Hey, so you found them. After all the searching, the wrong turns, the almost and not quites, you found someone who actually sees you, someone who chooses you, someone who feels like home. But now a new question arrives, maybe quieter than the first, but heavier. How do you keep them? Not through tricks, not through games, not through holding tighter or performing better, through something deeper, something the Stoics understood about love that most people never learn. I've been in relationships that started beautifully and ended painfully. I've watched love that seemed unshakable crumble into silence. And I've seen couples who've been together for decades still look at each other like they're discovering something new. The difference isn't luck. It's not even compatibility, really. It's understanding. Understanding what love actually asks of you. Understanding what fades and what lasts. Understanding that keeping someone isn't about holding on tighter. It's about growing in a way that makes staying natural. Marcus Aurelius wrote something that applies here more than anywhere else. He said, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." That includes keeping love alive. The way you think about your partner, about conflict, about commitment, it shapes everything. So today, 10 truths. Not about finding, about keeping. About what happens after the chase ends and the real work begins. If you're in a relationship you want to last, stay with me. Drop this in the comments right now. I want to learn how to stay. Let's begin. Truth 1. Love is a verb before it's a feeling. Most people treat love like weather, something that happens to them. They feel it or they don't. They wait for it to arrive or fade. But the Stoics understood something different. They knew that feelings come and go like clouds. You can't command them. You can't make yourself feel something you don't. But you can choose your actions every single day. Seneca wrote, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." The same applies to love. You don't wait until you feel like loving. You love, and the feeling follows. You show up. You choose patience. You extend kindness. Not because it's easy, not because you feel like it, but because love is what you do. I learned this the hard way. There were months in my longest relationship where I didn't feel in love. The spark felt dim, the excitement faded. And for a while I panicked. I thought it meant something was wrong. I thought maybe we weren't meant to be. But here's what I didn't understand. Those flat months weren't the end of love. They were the practice of it. Every day I chose to show up anyway, to be kind anyway, to stay present anyway. That was love, not the feeling, the action. And you know what happened? The feeling always came back, not because I waited for it, because I earned it. Love is a verb before it's a feeling. Get that wrong, and you'll leave every time it gets hard. Get it right, and you'll build something that lasts. Truth 2. You are not responsible for their happiness. This sounds harsh, maybe even unloving, but stay with me. When you enter a relationship believing you're responsible for your partner's happiness, you set yourself up for failure because you can't make anyone happy. Not really. Happiness comes from within. It's their job, not yours. What you can do is create conditions where happiness is possible. You can be kind, supportive, present. You can show up consistently. You can love them well. But their internal state, that's theirs. Epictetus taught this at the core of Stoicism. Some things are in our control and others not. Your partner's feelings? Not in your control. Your actions? Completely. I spent years trying to be responsible for my partner's happiness. I'd monitor her mood like a weather report. If she was down, I'd scramble to fix it. If she was upset, I'd assume I'd done something wrong. I was exhausted, and so was she, because she could feel me hovering. Here's the paradox. When you stop trying to carry their happiness, you actually become easier to be with. You're not constantly checking, fixing, worrying. You're just there, solid, present, And that steadiness is far more attractive than desperate caretaking. You are not responsible for their happiness. You're responsible for how you show up. That's it. And that's enough. Truth 3. Conflict is not the enemy. Avoidance is. Every couple fights, every single one. The ones who last aren't the ones who never argue. They're the ones who argue well. The Stoics understood that difficulty is inevitable. What matters is how you meet it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Conflict is the same. It's not a sign that your relationship is failing. It's a sign that you're two different people trying to build something together. Of course, there will be friction. The question is what you do with it. Most people avoid conflict. They swallow their feelings, pretend everything's fine, let resentment build quietly until it explodes. They think they're protecting the peace, but they're actually poisoning it. The healthiest couples I know don't avoid hard conversations. They have them. Not cruelly, not to win, but to understand. They stay in the discomfort long enough to find clarity. They know that avoiding the hard thing now means facing something worse later. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Most of what you're afraid will happen in conflict won't happen. The fight you're dreading might actually bring you closer, if you handle it right. So stop fearing conflict. Start learning how to fight well. Stay present. Stay curious. Stay committed to understanding, not winning. That's how you keep someone. Truth 4. Your partner is not your therapist. This one is crucial and widely ignored. You will have wounds. Everyone does. Childhood stuff, past relationship scars, insecurities you can't quite shake, and your partner will see them. They'll be affected by them. They might even help you heal some of them. But they are not your therapist. Therapists are trained to hold your pain without being consumed by it. Partners aren't. When you dump all your emotional baggage on your partner, expecting them to carry it, heal it, fix it, you're asking them to do something they're not equipped for. And eventually, they'll break under the weight. The Stoics believed in taking responsibility for your own inner work. Epictetus said, "No one can harm your mind without your consent." That includes your past. Your wounds don't have to run the show. You can do the work to heal them on your own with a professional through practice. Your partner can support you. They can hold space for you. They can walk beside you. But they cannot carry you. And if you expect them to, you'll eventually exhaust them. I learned this the hard way. In my 20s, I brought all my unresolved issues into every relationship. Fear of abandonment, neediness, defensiveness. And each partner, no matter how loving, eventually got tired. Not because they didn't care, because I was asking them to do work that was mine. Do your own work, heal your own wounds. Come to your relationships whole enough to share, not desperate enough to drain. That's how you keep someone. Truth 5. You will be disappointed. So will they. This might be the most practical truth of all. You will be disappointed. They will disappoint you. That's not failure. That's being human. We build fantasies in our heads. We imagine the perfect partner who always knows what we need, who never hurts us, who shows up exactly right every time. And then reality arrives. Messy, flawed, human. And we feel cheated. But nothing's broken. You're just finally seeing clearly. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself every morning that the people he'd meet would be difficult, selfish, flawed. Not because he was cynical, because he was realistic. And because he expected it, he was rarely surprised and never destroyed by it. The same applies to your partner. They will forget things that matter to you. They will say the wrong thing sometimes. They will fail you in small ways, and maybe big ones. And you will do the same to them. The question isn't whether this will happen. It will. The question is whether you can meet it with grace. Can you forgive without forgetting? Can you communicate without attacking? Can you hold disappointment without letting it define the relationship? If you can, you'll build something rare. If you can't, you'll spend your life cycling through people, always disappointed, always blaming. Expect imperfection. Not as an excuse for bad behavior, As a reality check, your partner is human. So are you. Love each other anyway. Truth 6. Space is not rejection. When you're in love, it's easy to want to be together all the time, to share everything, to merge your lives so completely that there's no separation left. But here's the truth. That merging, it kills love eventually. Because people need space, not to escape you, to breathe, to remember themselves, to have experiences that are just theirs. And when you deny them that space, when you treat every moment apart as a threat, you suffocate the very thing you're trying to keep. The Stoics valued solitude. They knew that time alone wasn't emptiness. It was where clarity came from, where you reconnect with yourself, where you remember who you are outside of any relationship. Seneca wrote letters to friends about the importance of withdrawal, not from love, into self. He understood that you can't bring your whole self to someone if you never spend time with yourself. I had a relationship once where we did everything together. Every meal, every weekend, every thought shared. At first it felt romantic, like we were so close nothing could separate us. But slowly, quietly, we started to disappear. There was no me anymore, just us. And without a me, there was nothing interesting to bring to us. When it ended, I realized what had happened. We loved each other so much we forgot to love ourselves. And without ourselves, we had nothing left to give. Space is not rejection. It's oxygen. Let them have it. Take it for yourself. Come back fuller, not emptier. That's how you keep someone. Truth 7. You will change, they will too. Nobody stays the same. Not you, not them. Not after 5 years, 10 years, a lifetime. The person you're with today will be different in a decade. Different interests, different priorities, different fears and dreams. And so will you. Most relationships die because people can't handle this. They fall in love with who someone is now and expect them to stay that way forever. When change happens, and it always does, they feel betrayed, like they've been sold something false. But the Stoics understood that change is the only constant. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Everything flows. Nothing stays still." The question isn't whether you'll change, it's whether you'll change together. I've watched couples who've been together for decades. The ones who last aren't the ones who stayed the same. They're the ones who grew in the same direction, who adapted to each other's evolution, who chose each other again and again, not despite the changes, but because of them. That's the work, not freezing time, moving with it, together. You will change. They will too. Love them through it. Let them love you through yours. Truth 8. You don't need them. You choose them. This is subtle but essential. If you need someone, if you can't imagine life without them, if your happiness depends on them, if you'd fall apart if they left, you're not in love. You're in survival mode. And survival mode isn't attractive. It's desperate. It's heavy. It eventually pushes people away. The Stoics taught that true freedom comes from needing nothing outside yourself for your peace. Epictetus said, "If you want to be free, don't wish for anything outside your control." That includes your partner. They're outside your control. They could leave, they could change, they could die. If your peace depends on them, your peace is fragile. But if you don't need them, if you're whole on your own, fulfilled on your own, at peace on your own, then your choice to be with them is real. It's not desperation. It's not fear. It's genuine desire. And that kind of love, it's light. It's free. It's the kind people want to stay in. I learned this the hard way. In my most dependent relationships, I was terrified all the time. Terrified they'd leave, terrified they'd stop loving me, terrified I'd fall apart without them. And that fear leaked into everything. I was clingy, anxious, exhausting to be with. When I finally did my own work, built my own life, found my own peace, became someone who didn't need a partner to feel whole, everything shifted. I stopped holding so tight, I started actually enjoying them instead of anxiously monitoring them. And ironically, that's when relationships started lasting. You don't need them. You choose them. That's real love. Truth 9. The little things are the big things. We spend so much energy on grand gestures, big anniversaries, dramatic declarations, the moments that feel like they should matter most. But love isn't built in grand gestures. It's built in the small, quiet, daily choices. The way you look at them when they're talking, the way you remember the small thing they mentioned last week, the way you make tea without being asked, the way you touch their hand passing by, the way you listen without fixing. Seneca wrote about how life is made of moments, not years. The same is true of love. It's not the big events that sustain it. It's the thousands of tiny choices to show up, to be kind, to pay attention. I've never heard anyone say, our relationship ended because we didn't have enough big romantic moments. But I've heard plenty say it ended because they stopped noticing each other, because the little things died, because they stopped choosing each other in the small, ordinary ways. Pay attention to the little things. They're not little, they're everything. Truth 10. Love is a practice, not a destination. This is the final truth, the one that ties everything together. You don't arrive at love. You don't wake up one day having made it. Love isn't a finish line. It's a daily practice, something you get better at or worse at depending on what you do. The Stoics believed that virtue wasn't a state you achieved. It was something you practiced every day in every choice. The same is true of love. You don't get to stop trying. You don't get to coast. Every day you choose whether to be patient or irritable, whether to listen or ignore, whether to assume good intent or bad, whether to show up or check out. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations every day, not because he'd arrived at wisdom, but because he was practicing it, constantly, relentlessly. That's what love requires. Daily practice, daily choice, daily showing up. Not because it's easy, because it matters. So here we are, 10 truths about keeping love alive. Let's recap them one more time. Truth 1. Love is a verb before it's a feeling. Truth 2. You are not responsible for their happiness. Truth 3. Conflict is not the enemy. Avoidance is. Truth 4. Your partner is not your therapist. Truth 5. You will be disappointed, so will they. Truth 6. Space is not rejection. Truth 7. You will change, they will too. Truth 8. You don't need them, you choose them. Truth 9. The little things are the big things. Truth 10. Love is a practice, not a destination. These aren't tricks, they're not formulas. They're truths, hard-won, deeply felt, actually helpful. If you're in a relationship you want to last, take these to heart. Not all at once. One at a time. Practice them. Fail at them. Try again. That's how you keep someone. Not by holding tighter, by becoming someone worth staying with. If this video resonated with you, hit that like button. Not for me. As a commitment to yourself. Drop a comment and tell me which truth hit you hardest. I read them. I'm with you. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Someone in a relationship they want to last. Subscribe because this journey continues, and growth is always stronger together than alone. One final time, drop this affirmation in the comments to seal it. I choose love, every day, on purpose. Your relationship is worth it. Go practice.